Silence students. Okay. So now I would like you all to quickly give me the answers. What are the two types of immunity? Nandini will tell. Nandini
Ma'am,
will.
innate immunity and acquired immunity.
Okay. So what do you mean by innate immunity?
Ma'am, which is acquired by the fetus.
Which is acquired by the fetus. Correct. So from the time of birth only, we get that immunity. Okay. So I'm presenting the screen also, and you just tell me. So the innate immunity is provided by what all organs, and what are the different types of the innate immunity? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, skin,
Okay.
eyes,
Huh?
nasal mucus,
Nasal mucus is there, correct?
salivary glands,
Salivary glands are there, okay.
or ma'am, HCl acid in stomach,
In the stomach, very good. Then what
bi-
else we discussed?
bile juice from the liver,
Bile juice from the liver, okay.
earwax.
Earwax, okay. And then some physiological we did. What were those? Specifically, can you tell me? All were noting now what I said. All have noted yesterday whatever we have discussed the innate immunity.
Yes, ma'am.
You can type it. Okay, okay. So now, uh, you want me to revise anything, or shall we start with the acquired immunity? Anyone, if any doubt, so you can tell. What are interferons? Acha, tell me that. That is very important. What are interferons? Asta, can you tell me what are interferons?
Ma'am, virus infected cells which secrete proteins are called interferons.
Uh,
They
okay.
protect
So
the
further,
other cells. They protect the other cells
uh,
from that pathogen.
from the viral attack. Further, so neighboring cells are prevented from the viral attack. So you have to say it very specifically that they are the interferons are produced. Only the virus attacked cells will produce the interferons. Okay, and then what they will do? They will make the neighboring cells resistant to the viral attack. Okay, so Aditya is clear to everyone, everything what we did in the previous period.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we will start today with the we'll start with the acquired immunity. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Everyone?
ma'am.
Okay. So acquired immunity, I told you in the previous period that it is developed during the lifetime. It is developed during the lifetime. So you put today's date in your notebook and write down that acquired immunity. We are starting with the acquired immunity. It is the immunity which we develop during the lifetime.
Ma'am,
Yes.
vaccination is part.
Can you all see?
Vaccination is part of acquired immunity.
Vaccination, immunization, that is only helping in developing the acquired immunity. So we will take up one by one. Immunity, everyone has understood that the ability of an organism to fight diseases, we call it as immunity. And the two types of immunity, innate immunity and acquired immunity, we discussed last. That is, in immunity conferred by the genetic makeup present from the fetal stage. That is known as innate immunity. And acquired immunity that develops after exposure to antigens. So you can add up in your notebook that acquired immunity develops after the birth, after exposure to the antigens. Now, what are the characteristic features of acquired immunity? You noted down, everyone. Number one, diversity. The acquired immune system can identify and act against many different types of antigens. So diversity is there, many different types of the antigens can be identified and can be destroyed by the acquired immune system. The second important feature is specificity. So acquired immune system can identify various types of antigens. Now you just take up an example. For example, polio vaccine is there. So that polio vaccine will develop the immunity against that polio that antigen only. Is it clear? The polio causing pathogen only. Then, so specificity is there. And if the BCG is given, so you know very well that it will prevent from the TB. Now, the third feature is self and non-self discrimination. The acquired immune system can distinguish the body cells from foreign cells. So, self and non-self discrimination is seen in the acquired immunity. So you all know very well that the immune system of the body rejects the organ transplants. And whenever the organ transplantation is done, you know it is taken from some relatives, the siblings. Why does it happen? Because the genetic makeup will be same. They will be closely genetically related. So the body will not reject it. The immune system is having a very important characteristic feature that it can identify the self and non-self. It can distinguish or discriminate between the self and non-self. So noted, everyone?
Ma'am,
Yes.
self and non-self.
सेल्फ और नॉन सेल्फ मतलब कि अपना है, अपनी बॉडी का है कि दूसरे का है, ये इसका मतलब है. अगर वो बॉडी का ही है तो वो उसको एक्सेप्ट करेगा. अगर वो बॉडी का नहीं है, किसी और की बॉडी का है या बाहर का है, तो वो उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा, उसको रिजेक्ट कर देगा.
सेल
ओके. हाँ,
एक्सेप्ट करेगा सेल को.
pardon, just bring your mic nearer so that it becomes clear, your voice.
ये किसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा, सेल को या फिर पैथोजेंस को?
सेल को भी नहीं, पैथोजेंस की बात हो रही है, सेल्स की बात हो रही है. अब पैथोजन आप इफ यू थिंक तो पैथोजेंस आर द सेल्स ओनली. ओके, तो कोई भी फॉरेन सेल्स होंगे उनको वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा. इम्यून सिस्टम फॉरेन बॉडीज कोई भी हो उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करती. वो फॉरेन ऑर्गेनिज्म भी होगा, फॉरेन कोई केमिकल भी होगा, तो भी वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा. इम्यून सिस्टम उसको रिजेक्ट करके उसको डिस्ट्रॉय करने की कोशिश करेगा. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
So very important feature is discrimination between self and non-self. So how many characteristic features you have noted? Manjul?
Ma'am, 3 features.
Repeat it quickly.
Ma'am,
So say quickly.
specificity and self and non-self discrimination.
Discrimination. Okay. So diversity is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
मतलब different forms of the antigens. And specificity मतलब?
Ma'am, the immune system responds to the specific antigen.
हाँ, means it can identify the specific antigen and will respond to it. Okay, so shall we take up the next pen?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the fourth feature, you write it down, memory. So this is very, very important feature of the acquired immunity, and it is working on that only. Memory. Memory means if when the first encounter is there, जब पहली बार any pathogen enters into the body, remember the immune system will start producing the WBCs, that is the lymphocytes, and उस समय उसकी इंटेंसिटी बहुत कम रहेगी. The number of lymphocytes produced will be lesser in number, and that their strength to fight with them will also be low. So that response we call it as primary response. Now what will happen further in the future time? फाइट किया, WBCs प्रोड्यूस हुए, lymphocytes प्रोड्यूस हुए. Those lymphocytes will remain in the body for the further, means all the time, in the form of memory cells. So those memory cells, now if any age, suppose the polio drop is given early in the early ages. Okay, so if by the child reaches 21 years and if the same pathogen enters, you will find that that pathogen will be quickly destroyed by the immune system. So why does it happen? क्योंकि पहले एनकाउंटर में memory cells generate हो चुके थे. Is it very clear? And those memory cells will remain in the body throughout life. एंड सेकेंड टाइम जब अगर एनकाउंटर होता है, थर्ड एनकाउंटर होता है, तो वो मेमोरी सेल sorry, will make the same lymphocytes which will fight with those pathogens and will destroy them. You call that a secondary response. So the acquired immunity has got the memory. So noted everyone, your vaccines are working on this principle only. That is, they have the immune system has the memory. You can note down that when a pathogen attacks a person for the first time, lymphocytes generate a low intensity immune response, which is called primary response. And when the same pathogen attacks again, the memory cells generate an intensified immune response, thereby preventing the occurrence of disease. And this is called
Secondary response.
Secondary response.
what is secondary response. So two different responses are shown by the acquired immune system.
मैम
So very clear, everyone. If in doubt, you can speak up. So shall I take up the next slide?
मैम
Okay.
मैम if the disease will come back there will be symptoms or not?
Again,
What? Ma'am, if the disease will come back, there will be symptoms or not?
the is going अगर जल्दी से पैथोजन को destroy किया exactly बहुत
Ma'am, your voice is lagging.
ज्यादातर तो यही होता है, जैसे ही वो जल्दी से कर देता है बिफोर सिम्टम्स नो.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
It's lagging.
Yes, ma'am, the screen was not visible.
अरे मैम कहाँ गई?
डांस करने पता
सही
नहीं।
में यार, ये अलग आइटम।
उनका नेट खत्म हो गया लगता है।
तो यार मैम को एक्स्ट्रा लेना चाहिए था ना। राम मामा जी।
मेरे में तो स्क्रीन ही प्रेजेंट नहीं हो रही थी, मैं कब से वेट कर रही, अब चलेगी 2-3 बार तो। अरे स्क्रीन प्रेजेंट नहीं होना तो लीव करके फिर से ज्वाइन कर लिया कर, ऐसा था मैंने हिस्ट्री में किया था, मुझे भी नहीं दिखता था। कर लिया था, उसके बाद भी नहीं हुआ। अपन सब लीव कर दे क्या? मैम तो आई नहीं अभी तक।
आस्था मैम से पूछना।
मैं कहाँ पे पूछूं?
अरे तू पूछ लेना।
मैं तो कहाँ पे?
ओए कोई सी मूवी चला दो इतनी सी देर।
नहीं नहीं, मेरे घर पे तो सब आए हुए, मेरी बुआ आई हुई है, मामा जी आए हुए हैं, सब नीचे बैठे मस्ती कर रहे हैं और मैं यहाँ पे पढ़ रही हूँ बेचारी।
चले जा लीव करके।
अरे हट यार, हिंदी और इंग्लिश होता तो भी सोचते हैं।
हाँ ये भी है, मैं भी इसीलिए छोड़ी थी, वरना मेरे को दिख भी नहीं रहा था, आवाज भी नहीं आ रही थी, तो भी बैठी थी।
हाँ यार, मैम इतनी जल्दी स्लाइड चेंज कर देती है, मैम से बोलना पड़ेगा। मैम इतनी जल्दी स्लाइड तो चेंज मत करा करो कम से कम।
पता है
लिख नहीं
रिकॉर्ड
पाते।
हो रहा है, रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, रिकॉर्ड।
हाँ।
Sai Ram.
Saira ma'am.
Sai Ram. It was disconnecting again and again. Can you all hear me now?
Yes ma'am.
Okay. All of you all, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
ठीक है, so we will start our class. Now tell me, what all did you understand? अभी तक जितना पढ़ा है जल्दी से बता दो. नोट कर पाए कि नहीं कर पाए? Have to be slow in changing the slides. I could hear Nandini saying.
यस मैम, मैं आपसे बोलने वाली थी मैम थोड़ा.
तो बीच में बोलो ना, जब तक समझ में आएगा हमको, नहीं तो कैसे समझेंगे?
ओके मैम.
हाँ, you have to tell me if I have to repeat or if you want the slide to be shown again, so you have to tell me. Okay, I start the presentation once again. Okay. Is it visible now? The screen is visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And as you are not able to hear now, if you don't hear my voice, so just tell me quickly. Because 2-3 times I was connecting and again it was getting disconnected. Okay. So what are the two types of responses you have understood?
Primary and
Speak up. Nandini, speak up.
मैम एक बार और बता दीजिए.
ठीक है. Now see, the responses are divided or classified on the basis of the memory only. The first response, which is shown by the immune system, we call it as the primary response. Means in the body, first time if any pathogen is entering, the immune system will be unknown to that pathogen. So what it will do? First it will identify it, then it will start making the specific lymphocytes, and those lymphocytes will start fighting with that pathogen and then will destroy it. Okay, तो ये एक पूरा क्या हो गया? प्राइमरी रिस्पॉन्स हो गया. Now what will happen? These lymphocytes which have fought with the pathogen, which has entered in the body and it has immune system has identified it, that will remain in the body as memory cells. अब वो lymphocytes जिन्हें फाइटिंग किया वो फिर हमेशा के लिए बॉडी में रह जाएंगे as the memory cells. So now what will happen? Up during the lifetime, means at any age, if the same pathogen attacks the body, enters the body, तो जो memory cells पहले से generate हो चुके हैं, they will start multiplying very fast. They will start generating, they start reproducing, they start multiplying, forming more and more of the lymphocytes. So the immune response will be very intense and they will quickly destroy the pathogen. So you call this as the secondary response. The second,
ma'am, what about the symptom?
what about the symptoms? Symptoms, remember, if the intensity of the immune response is very high और उसने आते साथ पैथोजन को डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया तो पैथोजन फिर सिम्टम्स प्रोड्यूस कर ही नहीं पाएगा, तो आपको पता ही नहीं चल पाएगा. ओके, दैट सम पैथोजन हैज एंटर्ड, so that which will prevent you from the disease. और जब वो प्रिवेंट ही कर दिया डिजीज, मतलब सिम्टम तो दिखेंगे ही नहीं. Is it very clear?
Yes.
Okay, everyone has understood. You want me to show any previous slide also? Nandini,
नो मैम.
बाकी पूरा क्लियर है?
यस मैम.
Okay, और ये प्राइमरी और सेकेंडरी you have noted?
यस मैम.
Okay, so shall I take up the next one?
यस मैम.
Okay, so now you can write down the differences between the two, primary response and secondary immune response. So occurrence period on first encounter with the pathogen. You can note these differences. First encounter पर जो response होता है वो primary है. Second और third encounter पर अगर pathogen के साथ जो encounter होता है, that you call it as a secondary response. Then the speed, when you talk about, you will find primary response takes more time and secondary response takes less time. Noted? So one of you all should coordinate. Yogesh, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you are able to write down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and third is what? When you talk about intensity, so the primary response that will be weaker. तो ये थर्ड डिफरेंस लिखो कि weaker response as no memory cells are present, but the secondary immune response is strong response as memory cells are present. उसको पहचानने में देर नहीं लगेगी, ये समझ जाओ आप that the immune system will not take in identifying that pathogen, because in the beginning only we did not that it is specific. One important feature is specific. तो specific antigen के लिए specific antibody बनती है. ओके, अगर उसने एंटीजन को पहचान लिया तो इम्यून सिस्टम जल्दी से वही वाली एंटीबॉडीज बना देंगे जो उसको डिस्ट्रॉय कर पाएंगे. इज इट क्लियर आदित्य?
यस मैम.
हाँ, तो वो मेमोरी सेल्स क्या कर रहे हैं, उसको जल्दी से पहचान पा रहे हैं. ओके, एंड द फोर्थ डिफरेंस इज लास्ट फॉर अ शॉर्ट पीरियड. प्राइमरी रिस्पॉन्स लास्ट फॉर अ शॉर्ट पीरियड एंड सेकेंडरी रिस्पॉन्स लास्ट फॉर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड. It lasts for a longer period. Noted, everyone?
मैम
Yes, ma'am.
Should I wait? Tell me that you can change now. Manjul,
Ma'am, you can change.
change now? Okay.
चेंज.
Okay. Now, we'll see that what are the different types of the lymphocytes and how they help. So remember the mechanism or the components of the acquired immune system, what are they? You can put the subheading as components of the acquired immunity or acquired immune system. So what are they? The effector cells of acquired immunity, they are the pathogen-specific WBCs known as the T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. After putting the subheading, components of the acquired immune system, then you note down. So what are those effector cells which will bring about this response? They are the T lymphocytes and the B lymphocytes. So we did in 11th, I'm repeating, the lymphocytes are the types of WBCs, okay? And these lymphocytes are of two types. Remember, the blood cells all are formed in the bone marrow. ये बात अच्छे से समझ लो कि जितने भी ब्लड है और the whole blood we say is formed in the bone marrow. Okay, now the WBCs which are formed in the bone marrow, जो lymphocytes bone marrow में ही बनते हैं, means they are formed, they mature and they differentiate in the bone marrow itself. So we call it as B lymphocytes. Is it clear to everyone? B
Yes, sir.
lymphocytes are those lymphocytes which differentiate and mature in the bone marrow. And the T lymphocytes are those lymphocytes which have to migrate to the thymus. So T word coming from thymus. They migrate to thymus and there the differentiation and maturation will take place. Noted?
मैम दे
T lymphocytes, remember these are the lymphocytes which migrate to the thymus. They migrate to thymus and there they get matured and differentiated. So maturation and differentiation of the T lymphocytes. Huh? Again.
developed in bone marrow.
Thymus.
Ma'am,
Thymus. हाँ,
ma'am, both lymphocytes are developed in the bone marrow.
देखो बनते तो पहले बोन
मैम आपने अभी बोला कि बी
हाँ।
लिम्फोसाइट जो होता है वो बोन मैरो में जाता है, वहीं पे फॉर्म होता है, डिफरेंशिएट होता है, मैच्योर होता है. फिर टी बोला टी
वही बनता ही है, वही बनता ही है.
अच्छा वहीं
मैम
बनता है.
दोनों बोन नैरो में ही बनते हैं ना.
हाँ, सारे सेल्स, ब्लड के जितने सेल्स है सब बोन मैरो में बन रहे हैं। ओके, लेकिन कुछ सेल्स जो लिम्फोसाइट्स हैं वो मैच्योर नहीं हो पाते बोन मैरो में, उनको मैच्योर होने के लिए कहाँ भेज जाते हैं?
थाइमस,
थाइमस में। तो उन लिम्फोसाइट्स को क्या बोल देंगे?
टी लिम्फोसाइट्स,
टी लिम्फोसाइट्स। बस इतना ध्यान रखना है। एंड दोज which are maturing and differentiating in the bone marrow itself, so you will call them
टी लिम्फोसाइट।
B lymphocytes. Is it very clear now?
यस मैम।
Noted everyone? Okay, so now they will respond to specific pathogens by generating an immune response, primary response, and then they also develop the memory of the antigenic response, which helps in generating a faster response to the antigen. तो बस इतना नोट कर लो components में lymphocytes, they are of two types. Okay, primary, secondary response already we have discussed. Shall I take up the next slide?
मैम
Yes.
मैम ये बी सेल्स क्या होता है?
B lymphocytes are those types of the lymphocytes. Note करो. B lymphocytes are those type of lymphocytes which differentiate and mature in bone marrow.
ओके मैम।
Which differentiate and mature in bone marrow. Okay.
यस मैम।
ऐसे ही T lymphocytes का लिख लो. They are those lymphocytes. They are those lymphocytes which differentiate and mature in thymus. Which differentiate and mature in thymus. Clear?
यस मैम।
Noted?
यस मैम।
Okay. Shall I take up the next one?
यस मैम।
Okay. Okay. So now, what is the role of the T? How do they work and how the B lymphocytes work? So T lymphocytes, now you write it. They attach to the pathogen and release the cytotoxic chemicals to kill it. T lymphocytes attach to the pathogen and release cytotoxic chemicals to kill it. This way they work. Noted everyone? Astha noted? Astha is not there in the class or what?
Ma'am, she said she's trying, but she's not connected to the call.
Okay, she's also having problem, that means.
Yes, ma'am.
I tried 3 times, then only I could connect. Okay, so now see, it's 43. So take up this also. B lymphocytes, what are they? तो ये तो रिलीज कर रहे हैं साइटोटॉक्सिक केमिकल. ओके, बट द बी lymphocytes, noted down that they produce pathogen specific immunoglobulins. And what are these? They are the antibodies. So note down the same thing. They produce pathogen specific immunoglobulins called antibodies, which bind to the pathogen to inactivate and remove it from the body. So can you see here? It is showing, the picture is showing here that ये Y shape का कुछ structure दिख रहा है. Speak up anyone.
Yes, ma'am.
So you see these Y shape structures. These Y shape structures, they are only the antibodies. तो B lymphocyte का ये structure है, इनने क्या बना है? ये Y shaped antibodies बना है. And what these T lymphocytes are doing? They are producing the chemical, and that chemical will combine with the pathogen, and it will kill it. Clear?
And then memory cells are prepared by T lymphocytes.
What?
Memory cells are prepared by T lymphocytes.
No, both will remain in the body as memory cells. Okay, after the fight, after the encounter with the pathogen. Okay, so now shall I take up the next slide? Then I'll end up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so now just to summarize it, फिर आगे का हम लोग एंटीबॉडी हाउ द एंटीबॉडीज व्हाट इज इट स्ट्रक्चर वी विल बी डूइंग in the next class. So immunity, innate immunity, acquired immunity. Acquired immunity, remember we will be doing again, that is a natural immunity and the artificial immunity. Natural immunity, you do it, that it is generated by a chance infection by a pathogen. Naturally acquired immunity, you write, is generated by a chance infection by a pathogen.
Ma'am, what is chance of infection?
चांस इन्फेक्शन का मतलब कि अचानक से कोई पैथोजन एंटर हुआ और उसने एंटीबॉडी, इम्यून सिस्टम ने अपने आप एंटीबॉडी बनाई, उसको फाइट किया है और डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया. जैसे कि कोई अपना कॉमन कोल्ड है, इफ द कॉमन कोल्ड कॉजिंग पैथोजन एंटर्स इनटू द बॉडी, व्हाट इज दैट वायरस? नाम बताओ जल्दी से, अपन कर चुके हैं.
Rhino.
Rhinovirus, very good. So if the rhinovirus enters the body, immune system will produce the antibodies and rhinovirus will be killed. ये by chance पहुंचा. ओके, अब आर्टिफिशियली अक्वायर्ड में क्या होगा? हमने पोलियो ड्रॉप डाला बॉडी में, हमने बीसीजी वैक्सीन बॉडी में इंजेक्ट की, तो दैट वी आर डूइंग आर्टिफिशियल.
Vaccination is artificial.
Vaccination will be artificial. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Very clear. Nature.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, नेचुरली कुछ अपने अंदर जा रहा है, बॉडी अपने आप वो कर रही है, उसको फाइट कर रही है, डिस्ट्रॉय कर दे रही है, अपन को अच्छा कर दे रही है. ओके, दैट इज ऑल नेचुरली अक्वायर्ड इम्यूनिटी. एंड व्हेन वी टेक अप सो मेनी डिफरेंट वैक्सीन, एंड पर्टिकुलरली पर्पसली वी आर इंजेक्टिंग सम पार्टली एक्टिव पैथोजन ऑफ एनी पर्टिकुलर डिजीज, so that the immune system gets stimulated and immune system starts producing the antibodies against it. That we call it as artificially acquired immunity. Is it clear? Two types.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So noted also.
Yes, ma'am.
Both noted, naturally acquired and artificially acquired. It is generated as a response to intentional infection by a pathogen. Noted.
Yes, ma'am.
This can be done by injecting antibody containing serum from another animal or source, and that only we call it as immunization or vaccination. So we'll take up the next thing because it is already 47 children, isn't it? So I'll stop sharing, and what you do, read in the textbook now. Okay, read in the textbook that acquired immunity part. You will get the active immunity and passive immunity also, and we will be discussing. So I'll stop the recording.